for the first time for a very long time, Google has not the biggest ads budgets under management anymore. They talk very specifically about paid social, about how many retailers are overspending in paid social.
They use the word vanity metrics in their keynote. Execution is commoditized. Maybe execution will be commoditized, but that statement's not ready yet because I've tried out Advisor and it gets way more wrong than it gets right. Yeah. You can not only add multiple products to a cart, but you can also add multiple products from multiple different brands or retailers.
This is huge.
And you can do that from multiple different places, which is very cool as well.
So properties like, what is it? GML,
YouTube. And then maybe you're on YouTube and there's a shoppable video with a product integration. Welcome to another episode of Growing Ecommerce. We've got an exciting one for you. Like every episode, they're always exciting. We are doing our GML recap. And for video listeners, yes, that's my GML badge you see. And yeah, it actually has my name on it. It's real.
You can and should be proud of it.
It's hard to come by.
Especially for Europeans, man.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel highly discriminated. We only go to the Dublin GML, which, with all the respect, I love being there. But man, San Fran is a different game.
Yeah, well, I have to say the Dublin office is beautiful, and they own like half the city. It feels like,
which they do.
Yeah, but if you go to Mountain View, it's a city in and of itself.
Yes,
it really is. Yeah,
but man, I would say let's jump right into it. GML recap. Let's say from both sides of the world, the Dublin version and the US version. I think it was one of the most substantial GMLs for a very, very long time in terms of updates, in terms of statements, in terms of boldness.
Yeah,
there was a lot going on.
I agree. I felt it was bigger than the last probably two GMLs.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, what jumped out to you? Where should we dig in? How do we cut this steak?
Yes, there's so much to talk about. And I think we should certainly pick one or two topics for the next episode.
Yeah,
maybe to unpack them a bit more.
That's right.
But man, you know me, I love all the product insights and product updates because they truly matter to us and to our clients. But for me, it's always rather about, I don't know, understanding where Google is heading on this very high strategic level. And what struck me the most, man, is I don't know if it's a pain, but I've felt that for the first time for a very long time, Google has not the biggest ads budgets under management anymore.
Yeah.
So they got overtaken by Meta. And I think this highly motivates them, and it stings. And this for me was one of the takeaways talking to the people that it's about execution time for Google.
Yeah,
it's there's a real competitor right now, and this was, I think, and it came from a positive place when you talk to them, but this was an underlying feeling at. It's on now.
It jumped out to me too, on the other side of the ocean.
maybe even more.
Yeah, I mean, because like you expect OpenAI to be the subtext here or something like that.
Yes.
And maybe like, of course, they talked about AI search. We'll get into all that.
Yes.
They talked about AI search, agentic, all this stuff a lot. But what I really wasn't expecting was how often they talked about paid social and how pushy and aggressive they were about the topic. Yeah,
which is, I don't know. I mean, look, Google has their plans and they execute on a very, very unique level. That's the reason why they are, for me, the best company in the world right now. But for me, it was always like you weren't too much talking about their competition.
No.
Rightfully so, probably.
Yeah.
This has changed now. So again, they talk very specifically about paid social.
Yeah.
About how many retailers are overspending in paid social.
Mm-hmm.
That, I don't know if we dare to say it, vanity clicks came.
they used the word vanity metrics in their keynote. It was
and of course they were highlighting Meta and Facebook as one of the channels where money is going to, which they truly believe. is not as goal cohesive or revenue driving as the clicks on in the Google ecosystem. And this is very unprecedented for me. It struck me.
Definitely. I mean, I think there's a couple things that work here. Like they were talking about TikTok, they were talking about Reels, and they're talking about YouTube Shorts. This is one thing that came up. And there you've got 3 arguably identical products from 3 from 3 different companies. Short form video.
Yes.
And it's just like, what is it? Who has the better hold on creators? Who has the better algorithm, whatever. In the end, this will all translate into attention that can be monetized.
Yes.
And their claim there is basically that they have more attention.
Yes.
And,
better attention. Better.
Yes.
And I mean, before we jump into the more detailed product updates and what was your major takeaway, I think looking at that, how Google approaches this now, and that again, I think it stings at least a bit.
Yeah, I think it must hurt them on Wall Street. It must hurt them in their position to advertisers. Like, yeah.
So, and I think my takeaway is that this will be a very, very long-lasting and substantial dynamic we have to look at. Of course, as a partner for our clients, but also talking to all the online shops, online retailers, D2C players. Google and Meta, they will go at it.
Yeah.
And you have to be in a good position to understand and unpack the aggressive messaging, because Google will up their game. And I bet my butt off that Meta won't hold back, right? This was, for me, as crazy as it sounds, because there were a lot of product updates as well, and we talk about them now. This was a major takeaway during my stay at Dublin.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing that they're really struggling with right now in that, and it's kind of conventional wisdom at this point. I think a lot of people accept this at face value, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of truth to it as well. But Google's pushing back heavily. There's this idea that paid social is doing a lot of demand generation, and Google is more of a demand capture channel. So they're completely reversing this message. They note for note said that paid social platforms are selling you sales and clicks, etc., that was actually generated by Google and YouTube. So they're exactly flipping the script.
Yes.
Which is, I think it's probably a bit of both and.
Yes.
To me, it stretches credibility to say that that's really what's happening. I think that Google is getting better at demand generation, but and I think that what's happening with AI and search is very positive for that too.
Yeah.
It's taking search into more of a discovery channel than it used to be.
For sure.
I buy into that. So I think maybe that statement could be true in the future, but from today's
perspective, yes,
it's a stretch for me.
Yes, and I really believe for online players, of any sort, if you have limited budget, you have to take crucial decisions in which platforms you have to invest in. And let's face it, I mean, yes, there is TikTok, there's Pinterest, yes, all of them have their fair share, but it's about Meta and Google. They're the dominant dogs. And again, they will be at you.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful and yeah, this dynamic will be a fun one to be part of. And I think we will have the right answers for our clients, but it's a major takeaway.
Yes,
for sure. Beside that, the War of the Titans. What from your perspective? There was a lot of unpacked and unveiled on the product level. What's the major takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, to keep it at the highest level and go from there about their keynote messages, what they wanted to say. I think that they wanted to tell us that as AI search is changing, everything is changing right now. Commerce is changing. The current marketing technology is not enough.
Yeah.
And it's not working the way that it needs to. But, on the bright side, their statement is that Google has the best AI experiences, consumer experiences, and they have the best AI marketing tech.
Yes.
So they do want to emphasize that we've been talking about the death of the keyword for 15 years in this industry. Forever. Since soon after the keyword was born, it started dying.
Not going anywhere. Now let's see. But
there were a couple. Hold on, I've got a quote.
Time has come
from Philip Schindler, who's their chief business officer, as you'll know. Well, I have to scroll through my stuff here and find it. Here we go. Got it. You can't think in terms of simple keywords, and you definitely can't manually choose them. Just let the best AI do it for you.
Fair enough.
And then 15 minutes later, his VP of Ads and Commerce was on stage, and she said, you can't choose keywords anymore. So they were hammering home their message. And you can literally choose keywords, but they're saying that this will not be sufficient to the way that people are searching. Yeah. And that's what they're pushing their AI Max technology with that.
And I think this is also the framing which struck me is like they were talking a lot about maxing the value of the Google ecosystem, and that a lot of people are still using the Google ecosystem not the right way.
Yeah.
And when you talk about using the Google ecosystem not the right way, it's precisely that, right? You're still going with manual keyword research. You still have not this AI Max adoption Google is looking for, and so forth. And that's also something which struck me, that the go-to-market or the sales burger they are selling now is they have the best MarTech in place. They have the best AI technology in place. Now it's about you, dear client, to use it to the fullest.
Yeah.
And the Power Pack is, of course, one of the dominant pieces here. This is also something which they were very, very bold about. Very bold about.
Did they say the word Power Pack in Dublin? I'm curious.
That's the fun thing. We were always talking about the Power Pack. Every Power Pack hasn't been dropped as a word.
Yeah.
And I was referring to the Power Pack, and sometimes they looked at me.
Yeah. Well,
is it still the name of the game?
I mean, yes, it is, but I think that they're again reframing, as they do every year, because there was one point where they have this huge, 50-foot screen or whatever. They have this massive screen on stage, and there were just two words on there, two phrases. There was AI Max and PMax. That's all it said on a big blank white. No. Well, because they talk about Demand Gen got its whole separate thing.
Okay, got it.
But their point was because they were talking about AI surfaces and stuff like that. And right now, Demand Gen
is not serving. Yeah, got it.
So, but their point was that these are your ways in.
Yes.
You need to do AI Max or PMax if you want to be visible in AI places.
Yes.
So, and I think that's literally the case. I don't think that your standard shopping campaign will do that. You have to activate AI Max to be visible there.
I mean, one thing which might open the paths up for standard shopping might be AI Max for shopping.
Well, exactly. If you turn that on,
then I think. But you're right. This was also the core statements that if the driving presence in these AI surfaces, it will be about PMax and AI Max for search. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean they talked plenty about Demand Gen. It's still darling, but they didn't talk about all three of them together. And I think maybe it's because I think they're really positioning. You could think of it that they're positioning Demand Gen against Meta and TikTok and whoever. And they're positioning AI Max and PMax against OpenAI and what's going on over there.
Makes sense. Mike, while we're at it, the Ask Advisor was a big thing. I mean, the whole idea that they put an assistant to your side now, which is helping you to not just run your ads, but primarily also run your ads was a big thing, at least in Dublin.
Yeah.
The product, I think they call it Ask Advisor, right?
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
I hate it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Be open. You hate it.
I will be open.
Are you allowed to say that with this badge on? Okay,
I don't like Ask Advisor. Okay. I won't be invited again next year, Chris.
Maybe they will look at me now.
That one stung
because I love it. No, I'm not. I'm not loving it. But Ask Advisor. Let's talk.
Hold on. I like the idea of it. Yeah. But what the problem? So let's just back up. Last year they launched Ads Advisor and Analytics Advisor, and the idea is that these are conversational assistants, chatbots that can give you information about your account and help you optimize your accounts. And now they are rolling out Advisor to the full family. So for example, Merchant Center as well.
Yes.
And what Ask Advisor is, just on the back end, they tie it all together so that it doesn't matter if you're a Merchant Center or ads or analytics or wherever else they'll put it. You have like a persistent chat history across there. So you can pick up where you left off. And that's a really cool idea. And in general, the idea of this agentic assistant is very cool. So it's just about where the product is today and the way that they talk about it. This is what I have a problem with. So
that's a fair statement.
Yeah. And it's just like, they use phrases like execution is commoditized. Maybe execution will be commoditized, but that statement's not ready yet because I've tried out Advisor and it gets way more wrong than it gets right. It's just not ready yet. I'm not saying that it can't be ready, but right now it was failing at the simplest tasks and it was giving me wrong information. And this to me is deeply concerning when they market it one way, because there are going to be small and medium businesses
which are fully relying on.
And they're the people who just don't apply a lot of critical thinking to AI in the first place. They think it's a magic wand. And this is a dangerous combination because this can affect your business. So it's a
great idea, but they're not there yet.
I know it's a sales and marketing event and they have to sell it, but to me, it was oversold to an irresponsible degree.
That's a fair statement.
I know. It was oversold to an irresponsible degree. Can we live with that, Google? I'm staring in the camera. Please don't cancel me.
They won't. Because probably didn't know it. But anyway, the idea is great. I think it can really make you a superhero. Running your ads. It's the things this chatbot, this assistant will be doing for you. They're basically unlimited. But they are not there yet, and it will take time. My biggest issue is the low level of how to call it. I mean, we did some things here. If you prompt twice, literally the same thing. And the results are not deterministic, mate. You get different results. Which I mean, and we're talking about really executing Google Ads. This is the heart of many businesses, right?
So
I think they have an issue there. And the other thing, which I just want to put on Front Street, and I'm circling back to the dynamic heating up between Meta and Google. I mean, who you're listening to? I'm not kidding. I mean, because they showed it was a little show and tell, and there was one prompt: how should I plan my budget for Q3 across whatever? I mean, if you ask Google how to plan your budget, I don't know if it's going to make it because there will be a certain tendency. And by the way, not blaming Google. The same thing will happen on Meta once they have their agentic assistant on there. So this is also a thing which I think, I don't know if Google is aware of it, but I know for sure advanced big retailers will know the name of the game here. Just saying, this is another thing which I think was not tackled aggressively enough. This position of being neutral, and I don't know if they can be neutral. But yeah, I mean, the idea was bold. And it was a great sales show. I have to say, I mean, I watched some videos in the aftermath, and it was.
Definitely. I mean, again, I think that it's the direction of travel.
For sure.
But I just, these things take time.
It takes time. Absolutely. But also one of the major takeaways. Ask Advisor was a big thing.
For sure.
What else pops to your mind?
Well, I want to talk about AI shopping formats, because this closes the loop on AI Max for shopping, which we talked about in a previous episode. And I think it explains also why a standard shopping campaign by itself is probably going to have limited to no eligibility in an AI surface. And what we talked in the past, just to recap, if you're not familiar with AI Max for Shopping, one of the core features is something called text customization. And I think at that point of our knowledge of what's going on, we're like, okay, that's going to be rewriting your titles to be hyper relevant, which it will do. And that's already a great feature.
Yes.
But with the new ad formats that are coming out, you see that it's so much more than that, because there are these things called conversational discovery ads, another one called, I think, featured answer or highlighted answer or something like that. And this has little to do with a standard shopping ad or a standard search ad. It's writing a whole AI response.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is anchored to your feed data.
Yes.
So,
and that's where you think the format editing will play a big role in combination with text customization, right? Or
yeah, because the other thing they can choose if they're going to serve a shopping ad or a text ad, and I think part of their reasoning behind this is that the difference between shopping ads and text ads is collapsing, and I think that's correct. In some of these cases, it would be hard for me to say it's almost just a new format. And it's very like your text ads. They'll be based on your feed. This all thanks to Joey for shouting out our podcast episode about that. That was a very popular announcement that these will be feed-based dynamic search ads. Yeah. What I want to say, like this distance is just collapsing because text ads can draw on your feed data, including images and stuff like that. And
shopping ads can now
can write a lot of text.
Yes, basically search ads more or less, right?
Yeah. So they're just new formats, but these are the first native AI formats. And if you compare them to I don't want to crap all over OpenAI. They've made progress. They keep making progress. They're now on a CPA basis for people following along. Yes. Good job.
Good.
Yeah, good job. Genuinely. Yes. They're working hard and fast, but their ads look like a text ad from 10 years ago. Yes. And Google now has native formats that really look like they belong there. Some people think they look too much like they belong there. You can't tell they're ads.
But I think it's crucial for the overall experience, especially in these AI surfaces. They will have to think about these new formats because they won't going to cut it, these classic formats.
No, I think Google is working like crazy on the relevance and on the formatting so that they can have a satisfying user experience and so that these ads will get clicked.
Yes.
So because it should be a win-win.
It should be a win-win. But it only will be by the way, it should be a win-win-win because the consumer should win. So the Mike Ryan using AI mode.
Yeah, totally. That's what.
Of course, the online retailer should win to get the highly relevant click.
Yeah, and then Google as a marketplace.
Yes, but exactly. Let's not forget that also Google has to win.
Yeah,
and they need. I mean, unless they change their revenue model, which we talked about that almost 1 year ago, there might be a thing coming up with like a commission-based model.
Yeah,
because we don't know what role the click will play in these new AI surfaces.
Yes.
And they need, as of now, to click on the ad.
Yeah.
Google. Else they are not making money.
Totally. Yeah. Or they can charge on other bases like engagement or views, I guess. But I don't know how satisfactory that is. I mean, CPM was not popular in open AI ads, but but outcome-based marketing could be the future for sure.
Mike, Universal Cart?
Yeah, so Universal Cart I had a crazy feeling of deja vu because Google already had a product years and years ago called Universal Cart, but this is exciting and new. I won't say it's unexpected, but the details are great. And what the Universal Cart is, this is part of their whole UCP and agentic side of things, where they're trying to overhaul e-commerce. And basically, you can not only add multiple products to a cart, but you can also add multiple products from multiple different brands or retailers.
This is huge.
And you can do that from multiple different places, which is very cool as well.
So properties like, what is it, Gmail?
Gmail, YouTube, they definitely, I don't know about if
Maps, maybe.
If Maps in the future, I don't know how much product specific, but could be. If there's local inventory stuff, maybe.
And it's truly universal in that regard, right?
Yeah. So like the idea is that whether you're having a chat in AI mode and you find something that you like organically or through an ad, you can add that to your cart. And then maybe you're on YouTube and there's a shoppable video with a product integration, then you can add something from YouTube, which I think some of this stuff could be great for impulse categories and fast fashion and things like that. I think there's a lot of potential here.
And for the record, once this cart is ready to, or you are ready to pull the trigger, is this then a buy on Google, or what is it then?
Yeah, exactly. So this will work with, they have some payment systems that they're working on. I think their first class citizen here is Google Pay, of course, but they're also going to be supporting other payment processors in the interest of probably two things. Conversion rate, because not everyone has Google Pay, and probably antitrust.
Antitrust, yes. Buckle up, Google.
Exactly. And and then they have this. I don't know all the details about this, but AP2, which is the A stands for agent, the P stands for payment, and the 2 is, so it's basically agent to agent payments. So they're working hard in that direction, and
a huge step. I mean, we talked about that also months before. That's the buy on Google direction they are going here, and it's a concrete feature, right? That we talk about here.
Yeah,
and a great feature. All I read about it, I loved it. Yeah. It's really it's a great thing. Just for out of curiosity, is this embedded in UCP or what? But the technology used here is. Well, do you know anything about it?
I mean, it'll be supported by UCP as the infrastructure for that, and then it'll be embedded within Google's interface in different ways, which I don't think is perfectly clear yet. Because I think back in the days, Universal Cart might have been a browser extension or something. And I think that's how it followed you around the web. But I'll have to dig in more here. But I think there's every possibility. Like if you're in YouTube and you see your user profile icon and all that stuff, you could also just see a shopping cart icon with a number on it.
Yeah, different ways.
Yeah. So you go to Gmail and you see a shopping cart icon with a number on it, whatever. Yeah. So it'll follow you around that way through their interfaces.
Yeah. And this again, I think this should be another strong indicator how big Google is on this seamless integration of this new AI agentic end-to-end feature landscape. They have all the possibilities in the world. I mean, it's
100%. Yeah,
it's literally crazy. I think the one big challenge they might have is we talked about that, the monetization strategy for these 0-click events, right? How 60-65% of the revenue is still, I think, based on clicks, right?
Yeah, probably.
This is the thing.
Yeah,
but they will solve it.
They'll definitely solve it.
They have solved things before.
They'll solve it. But yeah, I mean, and I also think that overall, I think this will diversify the revenue stream because
it's great for them.
Yeah, ads will be important, but they're going to find other ways because as this grows, it will be growing into a marketplace. It'll be a new distribution channel, and then I mean, I was just discussing this with our VP marketing Roman here at smec earlier. This offers them the possibility to do things that Amazon has done. Like, you can view these as ads, but there are different ways of being featured or promoted. Like there's all kinds of, Amazon has found thousands of ways of squeezing money
out of the retailers,
their retail, or everyone participating on that marketplace. And Google will have entirely new non-ad related ways. And there's also cloud. We talked about that a couple episodes back, that
everything is cloud according to Sundar.
Something they emphasized in there, they really were like, UCP is cloud.
It's cloud. Everything is cloud.
So I think that this will actually take some pressure off of ads, and I also think their ads will start picking up more.
I think bottom line for me, based on your feedback, my stay in Dublin, I think Google it was close to a home run. It was strong. It had substance. They were bold. They were not fucking around. Honestly, by the way, man, I love that not just the fact that I have some shares with Google, I'm still a minority shareholder. No, there's no fear needed that I go somewhere else. But man, they are in a very unique position, very honest. And it was a great event, and I love their boldness about okay, Meta, they are number one now in terms of ads, about budget, but we have a plan here. Yes. I liked it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No sugarcoating.
No, there's no sugarcoating. And by the way, some of those things that they said about Meta, they've been saying in demand gen pitches for a couple of years now, but they just rolled it out in a big way. That's all. Yeah.
Mike, what I would be interested in, maybe in the last couple of minutes.
Sure.
Because there's the official part, right? There's a presentation. I really want to make a big shout out to Carla, Holger, the whole Google team. And this is something, it's important to me. Yes, I know the pressure is on, and Meta is I think really on in their minds, but I've never felt that genuinely listened to for a very, very long time as a partner. I know we are a big partner for them, and we always had the feeling that they treat us with respect, but it was really like they listen to you. And for me, this is also something important. And I know Google is a Nasdaq listed company, and they don't do anything without the plan or without the goal behind it.
Yes.
What I think Google has realized is, and this is quite contrary to, I think, how Meta will proceed or execute the strategy. I think Google realizes that the agency partners, the big ones, the good ones, are crucial for them to maybe get also Meta budget back.
Yeah. Especially.
My humble opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
How did you feel over there?
So yeah, I wanted to tell an anecdote as well, or fit one in here, but just in general, big thanks to Ginny and Amanda from Google who brought me over and made me feel really comfortable. But
you were one of the very few Europeans, right? Invited. The only one?
I mean, maybe from some brands or something, but more, I mean, because they have their European event.
I know.
Yeah, it was an honor to be invited. Thank you, Google, for that. It's due to my influencer status, Chris.
Of course, you're an influencer.
Yeah, there was literally a door with a sign on it that said "Reserved for ads influencers."
Awesome. And for true influencer status, I would love to see a bit more sexy pics, on LinkedIn. I think you have to up your pic game here.
Yeah, I need my selfie stick and all this stuff.
Yes, show your six pack.
I need my
hold back.
my six pack. Give me 5 minutes to work on that. But I have a 6-pack of beer. That's easily done.
I think it also works.
Yeah,
but jokes aside.
But hold on. So I mean, I met with Googlers the evening before. I had some off-the-record sessions with their product team, several throughout the day as well, which was great. And even then the next day. So I agree, they're listening 100%. And then the story I want to tell you in particular is that, let me set the scene, okay? It's the night before Google Marketing Live. Mm-hmm. We're at this very posh mid-century hotel at the bar there. It's a very fancy place, right? And there's all these Googlers around, and some externals as well. Well, it was largely a Google party, but suddenly this Googler that I was talking to whispers in my ear, "Hey, do you see that guy over there? That's the guy who created PMax." She said, "He's a legend. That's the guy who's created PMax."
You're shitting me. Really?
I was like,
the creator of PMax.
The guy who created PMax. Was there one person? But
it seems so, yeah.
Yeah, so I went over and said hello, of course. I talked to the guy who created PMax.
Man.
And indeed, it was him and his team. And he also worked on some other Google products, like he was a key person in smart bidding, RSAs. Wow. He's working on AI Max now. And yeah, we had a nice chat.
Talk to a legend.
Yeah, we had a nice chat. He was listening. I gave him some hot takes, and yeah,
and shout out to him because PMax has came a long way, and I think it's a great campaign time. But it's fascinating, right? We're talking about such a big company, and there's still this these people,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Who really make this huge difference. We're multi-billion-dollar company. It's
really
good to see, man.
It's amazing. Their product org is massive.
Yeah.
But there truly are, because I met others of them while I was there. There truly are these single people
Yeah.
who
create the singular type events, right?
Yeah, they have an outsized impact on the organization. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Mike, I think it was a fair recap.
Yeah.
We were not too pushy, not too bullish. We're critical.
Yeah, exactly. Ask Advisor is a bit raw, put it back in the oven.
But a lot of good things happened.
Yeah. Other stuff looks great. I love the new shopping formats, and it totally, AI Max for shopping really clicks for me now.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be huge to next year and beyond.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the SAC and Sundai will probably not meet for the year.
Probably not.
Let's see.
Probably not.
Mike, it was a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you, Chris.
Sir.
And thanks everyone for listening and watching. This has been another episode of Growing Ecommerce, brought to you as always by Smarter Ecommerce. No affiliation with Google. To learn more, visit smarter-ecommerce.com. And as always, if you give us a shout out on social media or a like, review, anything, every bit helps and we really appreciate it. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.